Welcome to the Warren Cycling Podcast. My name is Dean Warren. I'm in Amsterdam, Netherlands today.
And I'm Randy Warren, and I'm in Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah, it's episode 371. I wrote down 371 of the Warren Cycling Podcast. It's the 30th of October, 2024. And just yesterday in Paris, the Tour de France, as you can see behind both us, we were thinking about the tour already for next year. The route was officially released. Not specific exact details of every race day, but pretty much a good rundown, and you have a very good idea of how it's going to be, and yeah, a little different reactions about who it really favors. Some say it's maybe against Tadej Pogačar a little bit, as they're taking him up some climbs where he failed before, so maybe it's a chance for him to really focus in on where he didn't do as well. But I think for Remco Evenepoel, you're right. Randy's a little bit under the weather today. For Remco Evenepoel, he has a chance maybe on an early flat time trial to perhaps get his first leader's yellow jersey of the Tour.
Yeah. What's more important, you think, to win the time trial or get the yellow jersey? Probably the yellow jersey.
Yeah.
That's the otherwise he could lose time, take it easy, and then go hard. So,
now this is going to be 7, maybe more stages that sprinters could do well in.
Yeah, I think 7 or 8. They said maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, including the first stage, which hasn't happened for a few years, where a sprinter has a chance to get the yellow jersey, which
it's 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, though, in the past, they said this is the sprinter stage, and then it has like a 2-kilometer, 8% grade at the end. So.
Well, that's for the new kind of sprinters. The
ones
that climb pretty well. Biniam Gourmet style sprinter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and well, even Mark Cavendish hasn't totally closed the door to not race the Tour again next year. So
I think, yeah, so apparently none of the big four were at the presentation, but Cavendish was. So I think they said, okay, say something to make sure we generate some excitement. We need some interviews that create some excitement. So Kev was like, they said something about, oh, you wish you were going to be there next year? You're sorry you're not going to be next year? And you go, oh, I don't know, maybe. So I guess that was
I don't know if what's a bigger question mark, whether Cavendish will race again next year or Astana will still be a World Tour team if they have again some financial and filing difficulties with their team.
It's not financial though, is it? I think the Chinese money is in the bag, I think. Right? Do you hear something different?
No, but they don't have all their ducks in a row, and they should have.
But my guess is that so as we were talking before the podcast, money means a lot to the UCI. So if there's a big money sponsor, Chinese sponsor, that'll make all the problems go away. So yeah, if they have enough money, then you can do what you want, I think.
Probably so.
That's my. Because they were saying how they might have dictated some of the cross schedule, but I think their money might have determined some of that too. So
right, but I think the interesting things about this next year's Tour de France route, one is it'll be 10 stages before the first rest day, because Bastille Day falls on which normally would be the first rest day.
Yeah,
it's a race that's going to be completely in France, so that's unusual.
It used to be every other year. It used to be every other year would be completely in France, and now it's been like, again, money dictates it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the starts have altered. The grand departs have been out of the country, but some years, a lot of years, they would start. Yeah, they would. Yeah, in a climbing stage, go into Spain, some when they're in the Pyrenees, or cross over into Italy or Switzerland and in the Alps. But yeah, all in France this year, starting up in the north.
Well, I think.
Yeah, Lille. Not going to hit any cobble sectors, which are going to be close to the Roubaix course, Paris-Roubaix, but I'm not going to go on the gravel roads either. They're going to have, I think it seems like more uphill finishes, though.
Yeah, no, certainly, I mean, is it super linear? Is that it? That they're going to go where one of the stages mimics very closely to one that in 86, I guess it was, when Le Mans won, and so 80, yeah, it was 86, right?
86, yeah.
So Hinault won 85, promised to Le Mans that he would help him win in 86, and then he attacked him like crazy. And so he was off the front. Well, he's already had like a 5-minute lead, and then he attacked Le Mans in the stage, very similar to one of the hardest stages this year. They're calling it the Pyrenees Queen stage, and then there's another Alps goes with the Lows. That's the Alps Queen stage and the Pyrenees. Because there's so much debate lately about what's actually the Queen stage of some of these races. They have two, but anyway, in that one. So, he had like a several-minute lead, attacked Le Mans again on the race he was supposed to be supporting him on, and then was way ahead of him, like 5 minutes ahead or something like that. And then Le Mans and a group came up to him and dropped him on this last climb and put like 3 minutes into him. So I think actually, still might have been in the yellow jersey, but he succeeded. He ceded lots of time and stuff too. A very dramatic stage. I still had the CBS coverage in my head from watching that too. So it was very dramatic stage. Yeah. So this one here is very similar to it. So they're wondering if Pogacar's attacking style might be a hindrance to him in this one too. You never know. I mean, they're always, of course, trying to create drama right now.
Sure. Yeah. Well, in the Pyrenees, they'll have 3 uphill finishes, but the middle one will be a time trial. A difficult. I thought it was 13 kilometers. I was watching the Flow Bikes recap, and I thought they said it was going to be 15 kilometers. So 13 to 15 kilometer uphill time trial, sandwiched between 2 other mountaintop finishes in the Pyrenees. And then, like you were talking about, the one they go up, I think the Glandon and the Madeleine, and then the finish on the Lows. And that's going to have 5,500 meters of climbing, which might be the most climbing ever
Oh,
in a Tour de France stage
so I did
that
the
day.
Madeleine and the Glandon, and then Alpe d'Huez in a one stage of the Haute Alps. The way we did the Lows, the Col de Lows wasn't. That was the big feature of that stage. It was not as much climbing beforehand. A couple smaller cols, but not as big there too. But it's interesting. I love having to do the Haute Alps because it's when they do all these famous climbs again, like
Sure.
yeah. They talked about like which side they're gonna go up or what they did in that too, and it's like oh yeah, so it's so much
Yeah.
fun,
And besides all that, they're going to climb Mount Ventoux as well.
which they haven't done for a while. Yeah, since
Yeah.
17, 18, something like that. Yeah.
So then they're going to do Mur de Bretagne. So you got Mur de Bretagne, you've got 3 uphill in the Pyrenees, you got Mount Ventoux, you've got the Col de Loz, and then the shorter stage, almost I think the day before they finish up in Paris, which
Right.
will be the 50th time finishing in Paris.
Oh, yeah.
And so yeah, a lot of nice features. It should, um, I think it's going to be good for anyone that's in good shape, like Vingegaard or Pogacar. I mean, Pogacar had trouble before on the cold lows, and he's had trouble in the heat, but I think he's addressed some of those troubles he's had before. Vingegaard could be really good for him if he's got everything going. Pogacar, I think, has more chance to falter and perhaps, like you said, maybe being tempted to attack earlier than he should, or sometimes missing a feed. Um, so yeah, we're super always excited for the tour, and next year it should be an exceptional one.
Yeah, I think too. This year, basically the Giro and the Tour were not over, but Pikachu took the jersey really early, from the beginning, and then stage 3 and held it the whole time. Or just about. I mean, it was like basically it was predetermined almost what's going to happen. So this year they tried to make it a little bit less so. So this year it might be till stage 11, maybe when's the first after the first rest day when they get to the Pyrenees. It's likely that it'll be a much tighter grouped bunch at that point in time, much
Right.
further in the race. More a third of the way into the race.
Yeah, they don't have anything so much to break up, but somewhat in the first week.
Yeah.
I mean, they got the one stage too across the Central Massif, which I think is maybe right after the rest day that you're talking about. That I think that has an uphill finish as well. Could factor in, but like before, when you have more sprinter friendly stages or riders, having a chance maybe early on to get into that yellow jersey.
Yeah.
Makes the nervous bunch and lends itself sometimes more to the
Crashes and stuff.
crashes. Yeah, so
That's true, but it certainly makes it more exciting in terms of like seeing the jersey passed around, who has it, who doesn't, and if a break maybe gets so many minutes, like the Volta was this year, with Ben O'Connor getting up early and stuff like that too. So who knows? I think they're trying to make it different than it was this year, 2024.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I was joking with our good friend John Hickox today. We went for a ride, and I was saying, I wonder if teams are looking at Teddy Pogacar for him to figure out what his schedule is going to be, and then they know they can target other races to win. So,
Well, it's not
somewhat.
Yeah, somewhat true. I mean, that's the people definitely look for opportunities to not race with Sade beforehand, because it's not like he races into shape. Like he's into shape at the beginning, and any race he's in, he'll target to win pretty much. So yeah, if you want to get some early season wins and to create some drama, we've talked about this lots, where they have parallel races, and some guys will be doing good at one race, some guys will do another race, and then they'll finally come together to have a head to head. But at this point, right, any race that Sade's in, some people might be like, well, I'm going to do the race earlier in the week or the next week, or I'm going to do this other race instead because they want to win races.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're not going to be talking so long today, so you can take care of your health and all the other things after coming back. You're traveling up until yesterday. You had a big drive yesterday, so
Yeah, last night, yeah. So
yeah. We'll talk a lot more about the Tour de France next year when it gets closer. So, but it's always fun when the route gets released. You can kind of look. For me, I look at where the starts and finishes are and see is it close to where I could get to see a stage.
Yeah.
A little more difficult. Hopefully, I can at least make it to Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the finish. But yeah. Okay, here's one we didn't talk about beforehand. I got to throw at you because I was surprised to see that there was a former racer. Well, I can give you the hint because he do some boxing too. He ran the Frankfurt Marathon and was one of the fastest recorded marathons by a former cyclist. And he was a sprinter, so you wouldn't think sprinter maybe be as fast in a marathon. But Nasser Buhani did a 2:34 marathon in Frankfurt, which is a flat course. So
it's pretty fast though, 2:30.
Yeah, very fast. Anna Hansen, I guess, did a 2:30 once before, but then there's this other racer that raced some lower Italian teams
Who didn't do
in the
30?
90s.
Who said you didn't do
Adam Hansen. Adam Hansen. Yeah.
That's fast.
So there's another one. I guess the Wheeler Review was listing like the fastest times on a marathon course by ex-pro cyclists, and Leonardo Calzavara, who raced on smaller teams in Italy in the late 90s, did a 2:26 marathon before.
So, I don't know what Andrew Talansky's fastest one was, because he was a triathlete, so it seemed like he'd run a fast. And if he did Ironman, which I don't know if he ever did Ironman, he'd have to do a marathon. But of course, it's hard to do a fast Ironman like you would
after swimming and riding a bike. Yeah. So that. I mean, Nasser Bahani.
Yeah.
That's good. Good. He's still being active and
he's fit. He's fit for sure.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Fast. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then I had another notation here because this weekend coming up, November, we'll talk a little bit what's going on in cyclocross because that's starting to hit its stride a little more with some bigger races. But the Iceman Cometh is this coming Saturday.
Yeah.
And I was checking the weather because I saw today it was like in the 70s in the Fahrenheit in Michigan.
In southwestern Michigan, it's supposed to be 80s, low 80s today. So
yeah, well, but there's gonna be a front, I guess, coming through because it's gonna be down in the 40s in Fahrenheit. Yeah, not quite. I guess Iceman Cometh could mean it's cometh in another month or so, but not good.
Yeah, it's been everything.
It might be raining.
Snow to like hot weather there. It could be because it's up near Traverse City, so it's north for you. But
finishing Traverse City.
There before.
Yeah. So
is Alexi Vermillion doing it? Is he?
Well, I couldn't. I was looking for a start list, but I couldn't find it. I would think he would be, but
I think he would too. Yeah.
We'll find out when we talk to him later on in November. Yeah. Let's go backwards a little bit. We talked before on our last podcast of the upcoming UCI World Championships for esports.
Yeah.
That took place in United Emirates, Abu Dhabi, and they paid out a lot of money.
Yeah, more money than the World Championships did for the top places, I think, too. For the for the World Championships. So yeah, as they said, the winners here won more money than Tade and Lotto Kopecky. So yeah, it's and then plus two the expenses. They just fly everybody there, and apparently one of the women the woman who won from New Zealand, she had technical issues, which happens sometimes too with your stuff too, and got disqualified from race earlier in the year. But now she was using all their own stuff, because you're responsible for your own stuff. I was we just got our internet back here from Helene just a couple of days ago, and I was wondering, and it seems faster to me right now. I'm like, oh, good, maybe my esports stuff will be better because you can buy like really expensive like modems and routers that are better than what you get from your cable company, but they're like $800. So I don't do that. I did put a hard cable one time. But anyway, for the winner though, Jason Osborne from Germany won in the men's race, and then an 18-year-old was third. So.
Crazy.
Yeah, Lionel Vajizin from Belgium was second, I think, and then from Finland, Casper Bormans from Finland. Oh no, I'm sorry, yeah, Avations was second. Yeah, so that's the top three there, and I think I can find the next one here was the New Zealander one, Katie McCarthy, and then Switzerland's Catherine Follner was third. Who's second? Brazil's. Oh yeah, Gabriela Guerra. Yeah.
Yeah, she was one of the favorite ones.
Yeah, and Jackie Gabi, who's from races for Triple X Racing, sometimes a team I work with sometimes too. She was 11th, and there was Kristen Kolchinsky, who was from America, finished 9th, was the top American. But Jackie has been 5th and 6th, I think, in the worlds before. But she said it's just getting so much more competitive now too, and plus she's a resident. She's like a radiology resident or something like that too. So I'm sure she's a hard time devoting enough time to the training, but she said it's just getting harder and harder and harder. So she, says that's a good thing because you want your sport to you want to win, beat the best. You don't want to just win this easy thing. So, but it was a thing. So I didn't hear a whole lot about it in terms of like the atmosphere.
Well, Peter Sagan was there,
but did not ride. So
no, it doesn't sound like he's that interested to do much racing at all anymore.
No.
No. Yeah. Oh, Tadej Pogacar was supposed to be there too.
Oh, was he? Huh?
Yeah. Well, he has a UAE.
Right, from UAE obligations, maybe. So.
Yeah, they're paying him a lot. He always signed a new contract, so he's making a lot of money. Yeah.
So he did 3 short races, and I guess it came down to kind of like in the track on the Omnium, the points race at the very end of the Omnium, they do an elimination race and a scratch race and a something else, and then they do the points race at the end, and so the points race at the end was more heavily weighted. So it's if you're in the hunt, everything could change in the points race too. That's the big one, and I think like that was what they did here too. The first 2 races kind of gave you position, but the last race is the one that really had all the points in it. So it created it so that the drama plays
more
out.
Suspense.
Yeah. Although the men's race, I guess the guy attacked and went off solo and won, but the women's race, I guess, was very tight right at the end.
I wonder if anyone from our listeners paid any attention to the Esports World Championships.
I don't know,
because
I do esports myself. I mean, I race esports. Yeah. Well, it's changed though too, because it used to be the Project Echelon or the Echelon series, where it was on an RGT platform, and once that went away, I think that stopped. It was a pro series races that I would do because you could, even if you have to be pro to do them, and I would get get destroyed in them, but it was kind of fun because you had to go through the weigh-in. Yeah, and then you got in really good shape for the other races later you do too. So yeah, I kind of out of the loop. I didn't race last year, but I'm gonna race some more this year, so we'll see. So if you race esports, then I think it makes it more interesting for me for sure to see what the pros are doing too, because you know how hard it is.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, the time change occurred here in Europe. It's going to change times in the United States this coming weekend. So
is it really this week? Is it this weekend?
Yeah. It's going to be getting dark earlier, so there's not as much daylight time to out riding. So more people will be taking to riding indoors and getting on a platform to do competitive riding like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be very competitive too. So it's. Well, I think there might be. It's a little less regulated too. So it's crazy when you see how fast these guys are. I mentioned it before. So yeah.
Well, yeah, and you have some You have to have weigh-ins and stuff too, right? You have to.
For the bigger races, but for the smaller ones, no. So then when you're racing against all these crazy strong people, you're always like, why isn't this person winning more races? The ones you do have to weigh in. So it is. I think there's a bit of gaming going on in the in the non-pro races. So
Yeah. Well, let's wrap up with some cyclocross talk. Ellie Isbert already served his 3 race suspension, which John was questioning were those 3 races he was planning to do anyway or not going to do.
it was so fast. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that was like last week we were talking. He's suspended now, and then all of a sudden they're done already.
Yeah.
He quick registered for those. And just like, oh yeah, well I just had my registration in now. So
he won on Saturday, but then T-Bone Nice beat him on Sunday at the Super Prestige race, and been listening to Brand one on the women's side, so she's a top cyclocross racer. So if Van Empel hasn't won in a few races, she's got a little rare dry spell going on. We were riding today too. We saw a kind of a redheaded rider. First time I said, "Oh, was that Puck Peterson? She lives around this area." So
you never know.
He didn't think. No, I didn't think it was her. But this coming up is the European. Well, the Pan Am is, I guess, the
Regional
different
championships.
Regional championships, and it's going to be in Spain, which is conflicting some with the Koppenberg Cross, which will be on the 1st of November.
It's Friday, yeah. It's a Friday and Sunday, so it's a little bit of travel. If you're gonna drive there, it's a long drive.
Yeah.
And then the Pan Am is in Missoula, right? Missoula, Montana.
Missoula, Montana.
They used to be in Cincinnati, and there for a while at the racehead there. But yeah, no, it moves around and stuff for sure. It's usually mostly Canadians and Americans, and then a few Central American countries. But yeah, but lately the Canadians, there's a couple of really good Canadian cross racers that have been dominating more. It'd be interesting to see.
Well, especially on the women's side.
The women's side, right? Actually, yeah. I was thinking mostly on the women's side because that's the side that we make most of a difference on the international scene. But yeah, the men's race, I guess this kind of gives us an idea too of who to expect to be making an effort this year and who might be thinking about going over to Europe to race, because you get good points out of these races. So it's if you're going to do well and you want to go to Europe and get a decent start spot, you definitely want to do the regional championship race.
I found today on Pro Cycling Stats, you can go over to the right side and you can click on for cyclocross to get all the cyclocross races and results. Or you could type in cx.procyclingstats.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was looking at what's been going on in the U.S. and this past weekend was the RAD. Let me find it again here. Rad. Really rad Festival of Cyclocross. Yeah.
In Vermont, or where is it?
Falmouth. Isn't that Massachusetts? Falmouth or not?
Yeah, maybe Massachusetts, yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking about Natalie Rochette, she's world class really from Canada, won on the women's side. She beat Katie Klaus on the second day. But on the men's side, we've got some more and more younger talent looks like coming up from the US.
Thank goodness. Is AJ August doing anything? Is he racing?
Oh, I didn't see AJ. He's still doing stuff at Ineos, right?
Well,
road rider.
Yeah, I mean,
the season's over, but he's probably got to take some kind of a break.
Sometimes they'll release him to race, different things. So they'll say it's okay to go on. I mean, he'll still race for Ineos, but you see Pidcock once in a while. He would show up at these races too, and they're like, "Aren't you supposed to be racing? Or should you be at LaGuardia?" Of course, that's a whole other issue this year.
Yeah, well, Henry Coote, an 18-year-old, rides for Competitive Edge Racing, which had quite a few riders at the top there, including Eric Bruner was third on the second day, and Curtis White would finish in between those two riders on the second day. So Henry Coote, I haven't heard of him before, so I'm gonna keep my eye on him. 18. Yeah.
We don't have a national series now, so it's people just kind of show up. I think it wasn't the Baltimore race not too long ago, because Evie Edwards, my friend here, is most elite level Masters racer now, Masters level elite racer. Anyway, we used to live in Baltimore when she used to race well in the elite races, and I think she went back there and they did the races too. So I think those races might have happened last.
They had the Charm City Cross. Is that the
That's
ones
it.
at Baltimore? Yeah, that was at the end of September, and then the King's Cross. That's Cincinnati, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
those took place on the 20th. Eric Bruner won there. Curtis White was third. I see Henry Coote was not racing there. It'll be interesting to see the Pan Am Games who makes the trip because it's a lot of travel.
Yeah, Missoula's not close to a lot to much of anything.
No, not at all. All right, Randy, you got anything else for today? We're gonna wrap this up.
I haven't been on the bike. Last time I was on the bike was a week ago tomorrow.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I've got like 5 out of 6 days on the bike, so I've got a
Wow.
pretty good streak going. But my legs were feeling it. And then I ran yesterday, 10.5K. I think I was feeling it today on the bike. I was taking advantage of John, who also flew overseas, in today as well, coming back from Michigan. But it didn't seem to help that he was tired too. So
Yeah, he's still good. Yeah, but he
yeah.
rode though. He rode in Michigan. So I was in Michigan the same time he was, but we were in different places, and I was not riding at all, and he was. He was on a bike. So
Yeah, his sister and brother-in-law have a nice log cabin, kind of south of Grand Rapids, kind of near Wyoming, I guess. There's a place called Yankee Town. Have you heard of that?
Inky Springs.
Yankee Springs,
Is it Inky
maybe.
Springs? You know. Yeah.
Anyway, he went out for a nice ride. There was a lot of great gravel roads, and actually he got on the Barry Roubaix course.
Oh yeah, I saw
I
he
saw
posted.
some signs for that.
Yeah, on the Strava. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like permanent signs. They're not like just like little, the yard signs that they put up there. It's like actually, yeah, the state issued signs that are permanent. Yeah, so that's great. I mean, that just shows what an institution that Barrier Bay is. And
Yeah.
I did race this year. Yeah. So we rode similar roads and
Different time. You have to check your segments.
yeah.
All right, well, let's hit the birthdays. Today is again the 30th of October, and it's always fun to see someone at the top of the list that's older, from a different generation before we were paying a lot of attention to cycling.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Giancarlo Polidori,
Yeah. They're 81 years old.
yeah, Italian racer. He won the Giro de Lazio in '68, so we're going back into the late '60s. So he was going up against Eddie Merckx in those stages. So
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
yeah, so anytime to win anything. At that time, he won a stage at the Giro d'Italia in '69, some stages at the Tour de Suisse and Romandy and Tirreno Adriatico.
Yeah. Yeah. He was on the Pepsi Cola team too in '68. So it was like in Europe they had this big Pepsi logo that was even kind of it was like when they had the Brooklyn chewing gum was a sponsor too. It was like the American sponsors over in Europe and there was no Americans there, and it was just like this disconnect. He's like, really, is that Pepsi?
Huh.
So, but he was mostly a one-day racer. Yeah, so. But obviously did well in some tours too.
Yeah, well, one of the best sprinters still racing,
Oh yeah.
and maybe Patrick Lefevre was hinting at too that with all the opportunities for sprinters, they might have to bring a sprinter to this year's Tour de France. And Tim Miller, he would be the man, wouldn't he?
He would be, yeah. And he's
Yeah.
had a great year this year.
He's 32, so he's starting to get up there. So Tim Miller's birthday today, and he's a 4-time Giro d'Italia stage winner.
Yeah, I mean he had 3 wins in a row too in September. So the Continental Championship road race, and then some Belgian touches the Flandern, and then so he's had a good finish to the season.
Yeah,
Eighth.
and he was 8th at the Gravel World Championships.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a good year. He won a lot early and he won a lot late, looks like. And then, the Giro d'Italia, he had a great Giro, so he won races there too. So I mean, they're all in for Evanpool, who has a good chance of, like I said, holding the yellow jersey for a while and stuff too. It'd be a shame if they didn't bring Miller or any kind of sprinter, but I could see Patrick Lefevre doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he is who he is.
Well, it's Tom Zerbel's birthday today. Happy birthday to Tom. He's 46, winner of a tour of Elk Grove stage. Raced a long time through the Optum Kelly Benefits Rally cycling. It was fourth in the World Time Trial Championships in
Yes.
2009. That's pretty crazy.
For that, yeah. It's Connor Swift. We just mentioned that too. Connor Swift's birthday too. So he's 29 years old.
All right. Are they related to Connor Swift and Ben Swift? Yes, they're cousins.
Yeah. You're quicker.
Right.
Yeah.
They're both pretty swift, huh?
They are. Yeah.
All right. Well, just a couple of Americans will mention the names. Darren Stockton, 56. Happy birthday, Darren.
Stockton brothers, yeah. He used to live in Santa Barbara. I raced against him before.
All right.
I think he was Darren. No, Kurt Stockton was U.S. Pro Champion. So yeah.
Yeah. And Jonathan Hornbeck, 35. Happy birthday, Jonathan. As well as David Clipper, 58. All right, Randy. That's going to be a wrap for this week. Looking forward to talking to you next time. We'll keep catching up what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm moving more and more into cyclocross news and other stuff. But yeah. Okay, you get yourself back healthy again. Get out. Feel ride some.
Yeah. I just came on right now. So hopefully it's something real quick. Get rid of it. I actually was arranging a ride for tomorrow, and then I was thinking, oh, that's right, because I haven't been sick for so long since I had the virus in Italy, I guess last year. But yeah, and I was like, sure, let's do this ride. And I was thinking a little bit, 10 minutes later, I was thinking, oh, I don't know if I can do that ride right now. So I just extend my time off the bike.
All right. Well, be safe, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks. Safe travels.
All right. Thanks, Randy. Bye.